Bit of a tough break for Conquest enjoyers, bit of a tough break for Deepwoken players. I was going to make a video about this when it happened, but you know, God forbid I actually keep up a healthy schedule. So the next major update everybody was mostly looking forward to for Deepwoken was Conquest. Lo and behold, we just received an official announcement in the Deepwoken Discord server informing the community that Conquest has been indefinitely delayed. Reason apparently being that the game mode just wasn't that fun. It didn't work out in development and nobody was enjoying it. It's kind of a shame, but it is what it is. If I'm understanding what this was supposed to be correctly, it was going to be a progression-based game mode where you basically played a MOBA against the other team. I'm gonna be honest here, I'm working with nothing, okay? I'm as in the dark about what this was as you guys. For it to be called something like Conquest, though, or like hyped up as like a big Conquest updates, and then for this to come out, it's a little confusing, a little puzzling. If I had to guess, it was probably a little bit like the Battle Royale game mode, where you sort of unlocked your talents and mantras as you like completed objectives. I'm not really sure. I don't think that with the hype that this thing got, though, that a game mode like that probably would have worked too well, so I think they made the right decision here. I can imagine this maybe having been a cool idea with the right execution, but the truth is, I was pretty excited for Conquest to sort of just be like a 5v5 sort of thing with like finished builds, guild versus guild. Not really how it was supposed to be at all. If they really didn't enjoy Conquest either, honestly, they can keep it. I'm not really too pressed about this decision. What I'm confused about, though, is I was under the impression that this update was supposed to be released with some kind of new overworld content, some kind of like new Luminant, something like that. I don't know. If you think about it, it's really been a long time since Verse 2 dropped, and that was the most impactful content update the game has ever had. And it having been that long since anything new was really released to do in the game is kind of telling. There is new content. There's been tons of new content at that. World bosses, new depths trial, all that kind of stuff. But I think the game is in a place now where the only thing that you can really do to actually keep the game feeling fresh is adding new areas and stuff like that. New origins so people can play the game from start to finish in different ways. A new layer would be awesome. I know that layer 2 was sort of like a whole barrier to progression, like there's a whole bunch of customization options, things like that you can get through doing the dungeon. But realistically, if there were more dungeons to do following layer 2, that would be the biggest reward, if you ask me. Like seriously, new content to like actually play through. I genuinely think that the way to go for Deepwoken is just to add more dungeons. It doesn't even have to be like layer 3 or something like that, for example. It could be anything. Overworld dungeons, that would be super fun. The thing is, there's like one big dungeon in Deepwoken and it's layer 2. I just think that could be a really cool cadence to set for this game, where you basically grind to level 20 and then you just grind out these dungeons in order to get like permanent progression or something. New oaths, whatever the fuck, because it keeps you playing. Especially if they ever get around to making layer 3, 4, or whatever, so on and so forth. I'm sure you get the idea at this point. Probably dragged that out a little bit too much. Point is, though, this game's structure becomes literally almost all about tackling these layer 2, layer 3, layer 4 dungeons, especially if there's incentive to get down there, like permanent progression and shit. New oaths, for example, people will grind to get new content. If it's a new oath and you have to do like layer 3 or something to get it, kind of like Arc Warder, you have to go into layer 2 to get that. Stuff like that would make the game so much more fun. And I know, they've been at this Conquest thing for a while and they had some big update planned for it. And currently they've pretty much drip fed all of like the actual playable content from that update into the game already. So it probably feels like kind of overwhelming to go from here. But this game already gets so much support, bro. Like I see the player count at like 15k sometimes still. And this game is like so many years old at this point. It's crazy. That would motivate the hell out of me. A lot of people complain that this game is literally all about PvP now. Like that's the only reason you would ever want to progress, and that's pretty valid. I mean, that's really the only reason you'd want to progress is like Chime of Conflict. That's the only thing that you can really consistently grind, I guess. Still though, I just see a vision where this game could become something great, and currently, it's pretty good. But this game seems so perfectly set up for more content to exist, so I just don't understand why we haven't seen that already. Anyway, I don't know what the devs are planning, but I know that they have to be planning something, and I'm praying, hoping that it's something like this. I was gonna end the video here, but I figured I might as well give a few ideas for updates like these, so bear with me here. Firstly, they already added a job board in Deepwoken where you can basically just go find events in a public server, and completing them gives you a higher XP reward and it gives you a small notes reward as well. I don't know why I'm explaining this. You probably know this already, but now try and imagine that you could do jobs like these in an instance server, so in its own instance, sort of like a small map or something with like borders, and you could do these kinds of jobs with your friends to progress. All right, like picture this, okay? You queue into the job, bam, you're on a bam, why did I say bam like that? You queue into the job, I gotta fucking chill out. You queue into the job, and you're like on a boat or something that rolls up next to another boat, and you're attacking some enemy faction. So like obviously completing the event would give you XP, maybe exclusive items to the job or something. Probably not that, because we'd want this to be just like an easy, free fucking layup content update. But still though, like a new layer to the game. I mean, already people just progress by getting these jobs and then like completing the jobs. That's how they progress in this game. Imagine now if that were just a little bit more fun. That's basically what this is. It also gives you an excuse to progress with friends, especially if it yields like higher XP rewards, although that might be a little bit shaky. I don't know, bro. Like I said, I'm not a fucking game designer. I just think that there should be new shit to do in the game. And something like this is also like future proof. When you add new content, like new luminance, new layers, you could add new like jobs you could queue into from those luminance and shit. You get me? They don't necessarily have to be preset quests or anything, but you know, you roll up somewhere, maybe like a little island. There's some NPCs there. You gotta kill them, find a cache or some shit, break that, then get the fuck out of there. Free. I already said it, free. Apparently this game already has a huge optimization problem. They were talking about it in this recent dev post that I started this video about. Introducing this as a new way to progress and also a new way to unlock like endgame content, say if you were to do something like this in the depths, for example. It's a lot more manageable optimization wise, I feel like, to have these small servers where people are doing missions. And because there's already stuff on the overworld that you have to do to progress, like getting oaths and shit like that, world bosses, things like those, it's not like this would completely kill the incentive for progressing in the overworld as well. So let me know if I cooked or if this was all just complete yap, but I feel like it'd be pretty fun. That's all I gotta say. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.